Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Not so much a photo as an illustration of sorts, and I love this kind of stuff. Okay, so it says it's almost like this weird kind of ink representation or rendering. So there's all black, but there's white. So it's just basically black and white, not very much gray. It's like a white sort of frame or silvery frame, and in that frame it says Houston Literary Awards, Literary Excellence, Roger Leslie, October 19th, 2019. Let's see. I can't remember. Like my history in my mind is just all slurry, a big slurry with the pandemic. So this was before the pandemic. Houston Literary Awards, take it away.
So I want to encourage people to realize that when they pursue their goals, sometimes what they're going for directly will happen, like the publication of a book, but sometimes unexpected miracles and magic occurs. This was one of those magic moments for me because the downtown Houston library system decided they wanted to start a literary award, and they chose 5 authors to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award in their inaugural year, and they chose me as one of those authors. I had no idea they were doing this. I had no idea. I was connected to school libraries before I retired from public education, but I was not connected to the public library at all. I just received a call saying that I'm an honoree for this very prestigious award.
Wow.
It just happened. So I want to encourage people as they're on their journey, just when they think it's time to give up, or just when they think, the rewards are not coming, something unexpected will happen, that fate will move you in the direction that you are meant to go. So trust that process and realize that sometimes the rewards that you are expecting don't happen, but very often some that you had no way of anticipating will change everything.
Wow. Okay. So here is where what you just said landed in my head. I may get a little verklempt. I may get a little choked up. Okay, so my main work, and like many humans, I take great, like my identity is very wrapped up in the kind of work that I do. And 3 years ago, my main sort of client became very sick, and then so I've been really struggling for 3 years, and it's been a very intense roller coaster, up and down for 3 years, really. So this sense of living life, and then when you can't expect it, even the reward that you think you're aiming for, that's you're trying to target, may elude you, but something out of the blue is going to cross, and like in this particular case for yourself. So I'm feeling that right now. Right now, I'm in that moment of just like being at the bottom of a well. Do you know Haruki Murakami?
I don't.
What? Japanese author, very, very novelist, writes amazing books. A really good book, if you're into novels, is The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles. Okay, that's an aside. It's like I'm at the bottom of this well looking up. All I see is this light. And so, yeah, so where were you at when that call came in? Like, what was your life? Like, what was your headspace? And when you're one day out of the blue, this phone call comes in and says, "Hey, guess what? You're a nominee or for this award."
So I had retired from my job in public education a few years earlier, and I was just out there, working on my different, all the different projects that I was working on, and I was always focusing on my writing first. But in order to make ends meet financially, I was coaching, I was publishing other people's books, I was editing, and I love to help other people make their dreams come true. So it was a somewhat rewarding experience personally, but all along I kept thinking, But my dream is to be a writer, to make a living as a writer, and to thrive just from my writing career, not necessarily to, there was always a side job. There were always several
Hmm.
side jobs. I was teaching, I was a librarian, I was a professor, I was, a writing coach. There was always something else, just like, but my dream when I was very young was just to be a writer. And at that time, I wasn't making any money from the books. There were no royalties
Hmm.
coming in from the books. Maybe a little bit trickling in from some of the books that had been published several years back, but nothing substantial enough to make me feel like, wow, I really am living the dream
Right.
fully. And then that came around, and that was my sign to keep going, to keep trying.
Nice.
And here's what's interesting, Rand. Not long after that awards banquet, the pandemic hit. And in March of 2020, all of my editing clients, all of my coaching clients, and all my publishing clients disappeared because nobody knew what was going to happen. They thought it was the end of the world. Nobody was spending
Yeah.
money. That freed my schedule completely. So what did I do? I thought, you know what? Here is my opportunity. I'll stay home and write and write and write. Now I have about 6 books down the pike ready to come out because during that time I did nothing but write. So
Wow.
everything was turning, and the pivotal moment was that award that told me, keep going, keep trying, don't give up. It's going to happen. You've just got to keep moving on. You can't necessarily see to the top of the mountain, but you can see the next step. Keep taking the next step.
Yes, Roger is in the house. Inspiration. I love it. This is great. This is totally great. Okay, so for somebody who comes to, okay, so you came to writing very early. You've always known. Some people come to writing a little later in their, and they're just like, speaking of Haruki Murakami, I think he started a little later on, like in his 20s or 30s or something. But yeah, like what is your process as a writer?
Anytime I get inspired to write a book, I start it. I just start
Okay.
it. It doesn't matter if I'm working on other books. I just need to start it. If it's a matter of writing a little bit of text to get the ideas flowing, I'll do that. It might be that I just jot down some ideas or outline a concept, but I always have several books going, and I keep them all in separate folders in my computer so that I
Hmm.
can refer back to them. And I have 3 main folders in that one section: past books, current books, and future books. And I
Oh,
just keep
wow.
rearranging them. They keep moving from future books to current books, from current books to past books. And I just keep going. But when it comes to the writing process, I just dive in and start the first draft.
Okay.
I am more right brained in many ways than left brained. So writing that first draft comes, it's more instinctive to me,
Yeah.
but I just have to follow the journey and follow the path of where the characters take me if it's fiction, or where the ideas take me if it's nonfiction. I tell
Mm.
my students who are more left brained or who prefer an outline, feel free to make a cursory outline and then follow it flexibly,
Yeah.
but don't revise at all during the first draft, because you don't know what to edit until you've finished the whole first draft.
Right.
And that's my
Right.
process. I just plow right through a book from beginning to end and see where the characters take me. And then the next revision is usually excising huge chunks of that, because it took me a while to find where the characters were going and what I was
Yep.
really
Yeah.
doing. So I usually have an overall concept, a purpose in mind, like why am I writing this book, and who my main audience is. If the writers of any type, aspiring or seasoned, have those 2 things in mind, your purpose and your reader, if you're clear on those 2, then that really is all you need to guide you through the whole process of writing the book.
Nice. Excellent advice. You've obviously given advice before. It's really good. Well done. No, I love it. I totally, and I love meeting people like you. Okay. So this was one of those, for a while, my friend, because I have an arts degree, right? And so for a while, my artist friends or whatever, we would always talk about Bob Ross and the happy accident, right? And so can't say that getting the award was a happy accident. It was just like an amazing sort of gift from the universe saying, okay, here you go. All the work you've done, actually, look, it's being recognized. But how about you talk about a happy accident, like a proper happy accident, connected to one of your books or connected to writing?
So here's one of my favorite stories. What you call a happy accident, I call a fateful detour.
Oh,
Fateful,
nice.
fateful detour. So here's
Love
what
it.
happened. I was a classroom teacher, and I just finished my degree in creative writing. As soon as I finished that degree, I was very clear, no more school. I'm not going back to school. I'm going to stay home, write in the evenings, work on getting published, sending out to publishers throughout the weekend. I was very clear. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I
Yep.
had my eye on that straight line.
Nice.
My principal called me into his office and said, "Our librarian is retiring. I would like you to take the job." Immediately, I told him, "Thank you, but I don't want to change jobs, and I don't want to have to go back to school to get the library science degree because I want to be a writer." He said, "Well, just think about it." He said, "And overnight, I will contact the administration building and see, since you have a master's already, if I can give you an emergency certification, and then you'll just need, and then you can just go ahead and get the library science certification, the 18 extra hours that I needed over the next year." And so I said, "Okay, I'll think about it." And I went home and I had a good talk with God. And I said, "God, you're not listening. I want to be a writer. I don't want to get another job. I don't want to change careers." But the more I talked, the more I realized, okay, if this is a direction that's my fate knows is best for me, I'm going to take the job. If the principal says, "Yes, you got the emergency certification, I can give you the job immediately," I said, "I don't understand, but I'll take it." Of course, that's exactly what happened. I took the job and I started back to school that summer begrudgingly. Well, 2 women ran that library science program.
Okay.
One of them, I wrote some reviews for a children's lit class I took for her. She loved the reviews so much, she sent some of them to Booklist, which is the main review journal of the American Library Association. I didn't do an interview. I didn't fill out an application. About 6 months after she sent them in, I went to my front door. There was a box of books. In there was a letter saying, "Welcome to Booklist. You're one of our reviewers. Here's how many words your reviews need to be. This is when they're due. This is how much you'll get." Without any effort at all, I was getting published bi-weekly with 7 bylines in this prestigious magazine. It gets better.
Wicked.
The other woman who runs the library science program, she had written a book on library programming. And her publisher called her and said, "This one's going out of print. We'd like you to write a new one." She said, "It's too much work by myself. If I got a co-author, would you accept that?" They said yes. She knew I wanted to be a writer. At this point, I just had the Galena Park book out, so I really had not made much headway. So she called me after class one day and she said, "Would you be interested in writing a book with me?" I said yes. We met. Nice. The first day we started putting notes together, we realized her background was in elementary education. Mine was in secondary. We had not 1, but 3 books that we could write. Wow. Within 6 months of not wanting to take the job because I didn't want to go back to school, I met the 2 women who changed the trajectory of my career. Because within 6 months, I was being published bi-weekly in the most prestigious library journal in the country. And I had a 3-book contract with one of the biggest publishers in the nation.
Amazing.
That's a fateful detour. Those are those happy accidents. You have to trust. Fate knows where you're going, even if you can't see it. I say, trust it, trust it, trust it. You are destined to do something great. Follow that path. It's going to happen no matter what you dream.
Roger, you gave me goosebumps. Okay, fine. Be like that. Okay, let's go on to the next photo. Love it. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.